Hello and welcome to another edition of For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. See this? This is my hot sauce. Get your own damn hot sauce. That's the name of it. And Jim Johnson, the founder and CEO, one of them, has joined me today. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks for being with us. Tell us about your hot sauce.
So it's a Chipotle smothering sauce that kind of started in the home kitchen idea about 7 years ago or so. That was a Christmas gift. It never was intended to kind of flourish into a business, and it ended up evolving there.
Did a bunch of people, family, friends like it so much they said, "Oh, you gotta sell this stuff. You gotta market it. This is great."
It did turn out that way. So we had that happen a lot, and I was like, okay, they're friends, they're family.
They're going to say that anyway.
They'll say it anyways. You don't believe it. And then it was a friend of a friend, and then it became a stranger or two. And all of a sudden, we actually started to realize we have a marketable product here. This is something we could actually pull forward with the business.
So let's back up. Let's talk about your background and your history. How far back do you want to go to lead us up to this point?
Okay, so I guess I would start in the Navy here in Groton around 2001. A lot of friends of mine were hot sauce connoisseurs, and I'm not a hot sauce guy.
A lot of Navy guys around here from the South, right? And they're kind of like their hot sauce or maybe their spicy food a little bit, right?
They sure do.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things where it was constantly we'd be putting stuff out there, or they just kind of throw it in the food. I'm like, guys, this is way too hot. It's kind of ridiculous.
Right.
It was a tactic of torture almost.
Yeah, they almost want to get you to try it. Hey, try this stuff. It's fine. And then you go running to get some water or something, right?
Right. And so
Yeah.
I wanted to develop something that was actually flavorful and had a level of heat, but a well-balanced product there that I could actually enjoy instead of just having a ridiculous level of burn that wasn't there for the food that I wanted to enjoy.
Let me ask you, as someone who is like me, doesn't want it, at inferno level, what is it about that everybody seems to like so much? Why do you like it so hot? How can you enjoy it when it's that hot?
Well, I think it's actually a built-in level. After you've eaten it for so long, you're going to constantly kind of become a little bit immune to the capsaicin within all the peppers that we utilize. So it's one of those things that at first it burns, and then it's like, I'm not even feeling it, so I'll continue to add more and go to the next level of sauces.
But if you're saying it burns, why aren't you stopping at that point? I'll try it again. Why? I don't understand the logic here.
Neither do I. I mean, I think that's one of the things that we wanted to do is not make a niche sauce that had a burn like that, but more or less make something that had the flavor and just a little bit of heat that you can actually get on the kind of the back end of the flavor.
All right, so back to the Navy thing. You're in the Navy, okay, and advance from there.
Oh,
they're making fun of you. They're teasing you.
Oh yeah, and it was one hot sauce after another, and I finally got a hold of one of the ones off the market that'll just make you want to cry. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. And that's when I decided to find something that I could work with and make it so that I could enjoy these hot sauces.
Now, do you have any kind of cooking background at all, or preparing foods or anything like that?
No, my brother was a cook in the Marine Corps, so I was kind of getting ideas and hints from him. And it was just like, hey, so what would go well with this, and what have you used and seen in your travels in the military? And it came to just finding different things, finding a flavor that I liked, and finding a heat level that I could actually enjoy. So that's where it all started, and it basically landed with the original Chipotle idea here.
Why hot sauce, though, of anything that you could come up with?
I think it was just the fact that it has its community. Just like anything else, that you have a family of people who like things. Hot sauce and food bring people together, and that was the one biggest thing I like about the military community is that the togetherness and stuff like that. And clearly most of us have spent most of our time in the kitchen grouped together, so it's kind of just how it landed there.
All right, so you decided, you know what, this stuff that I'm trying, off the shelf is a little bit too hot. It's not for me. I want to get that balance, something a little spicy with a little kick to it, but not so much. So how did you formulate in your mind about what to do?
So like you could see, that you go out and you see what do I kind of like.
Right.
And I found products that were similar to what I was going to like, and I started dissecting the idea of it. What peppers are utilized in this sauce, and what sugars are utilized in that sauce.
You got really that specific with it, like really into the ingredients.
Absolutely. What it came down to is I actually ordered some charts off the internet of every single pepper that was available at the time for their Scoville units, and then every single sugar that was available, natural sugars, as we don't use, high fructose corn syrup in our stuff. We look for natural sugars that had a sweetness to match. So we matched the heat of a pepper with the sweetness of one of our sugars that we decided to use in the sauce, and that's kind of how it started to balance out from there.
So how many, there were a lot of rough drafts of this stuff, I would imagine, before you got it to the point where it is today, right?
I would say about 7 years worth. I couldn't tell you
That's a lot.
how many drafts I've gone through and calculated in spreadsheets that we've actually taken the time to go, ingredient per ingredient and gram per gram to find out that match. But it's a labor of love and a lot of fun.
Yeah. And and a lot of tweaking, like you said. Now you probably get a lot of people in your close circle to, all right, try this, see what you think of this, And as it is now, even with the finished product, there's more than one flavor that's available, right?
Yeah, we're actually at the factory right now, sending through our next 2 recipes. So we have 4 that we're going to hit the market with. We have our chipotle smothering sauce. We have a blueberry jalapeno madness sauce that we're working with. We have an apricot cherry glaze. And then our final wrap-up we're going to do is called raspberry linemite. So it's going to be our raspberry lime habanero sauce.
So that's a little on the hot side.
That is one of our hotter ones of the flavors.
All right. Now I want to go back now. You've got your ideas. You've begun to dissect some other things that you liked. You looked at all the pepper charts and everything. So you're getting it all together now, and you're getting closer and closer to, something that you can market. So take it from there.
So when it became the idea of marketing and how we're going to go about this, I actually decided to go back to school. So I started attending Three Rivers under the business and entrepreneurship program, and clearly started running into a lot of students and a lot of teachers who give you a lot more feedback and ideas. So you're looking at starting a business is expensive. What are my first steps in getting a product to market? And what am I going to need? So I mean, marketing is the largest portion of the effort that we put into, from leaving the recipe in the kitchen and saying we're good there to actually starting a business.
Not the product itself. It's amazing. Isn't it?
That's really what it is. It's finding your idea of what you believe your brand is,
and how to target it too, right?
Oh, that was another thing. It's a constant learning adventure. All of us sit there every day and we're always learning something new or meeting new people who have one more thing. The biggest saving grace that we've had is that we've had great business mentors who've kind of offered, that advice you're going to need to take that first step that they want to tell you about or warn you, hey, I had this one misstep and you should probably look at this avenue, and it's going to save you either time or money, both of which are very valuable.
Were there people also along the way, I don't want to say trip you up or anything, but just kind of were naysayers about business in general? Don't waste your time. It's more trouble than it's worth. Sort of, not trying to stomp on your dream, but it's just not, business isn't for them,
There is that. I mean, I will say that starting a company, you find a very important appreciation of having a job. How easy it is to go to your 9-to-5 job, work your hours, and collect a paycheck. Well, I think doing this, we've all gained a respect for what it's like to be a boss, to sit there and say, my day is no longer 9 to 5. My day is practically 24/7.
Yeah.
So there is that. And then even with the naysayers, it was more or less a warning of, hey, by the way, you may not know of all this work to come. And I think we really seen it like that. Every textbook that I read even has, within the first chapter, by the way, there is no easy road to this adventure.
Yeah. If anything, it's going to be harder than you could possibly imagine it was, right?
I will say yes, there's always something new that comes out to surprise you, and you're like, okay, we were prepared, or we had some advice to help us with that, but it's definitely something you cannot be 100% prepared for.
It's interesting along the way, some of the things you discovered. We were talking off the air. A local product like this seems like a natural fit for, like, say, your local farmers markets, and as the weather gets nice, that would be perfect, but not so fast in that area, right?
Well, each market has the rules and stuff like that, and we're not a farm. So farmers markets curtail to the farmers, and there's different rules and regulations that apply to them, and that if you're not a farm, you have to carry a level of insurance. Now, clearly, we had to shop out our insurance, so for the time being, when we were doing our test bed platforms, we couldn't actually attend farmers markets because we hadn't shopped our insurance just yet. And that's one of the big things that we got informed of early on. If you're not a farm, you're going to have to carry a higher level of liability insurance that clearly we didn't understand at the time, but at least we were forewarned by some of our neighbors who are farmers, so that was helpful.
Right. So if farmers markets aren't a viable option, what are some better choices for you?
For a startup company, and I guess within just a food idea, if anybody is looking at this and saying, hey, I'd like to put my food out there like that, you're going to have to survey it out. Friends and family, great, are fun like that. But you could try to do your fairs, but clearly you're going to need your insurance out of the gate. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You will have to be insured. And it's even to the level of when you go to a co-packer where we are now, there is a food insurance that they'll cover, but then the business still, they have to cover the insurance to get the product to the event of any incidences, and clearly you're insuring the glass bottle. If there's something broken inside that no one knows about, that's a liability that you're going to have to cover to be wary of. You don't want to lose your business or your home if you're a sole proprietor and you haven't set up an LLC. So that's a lot of the learning curve was just the starting steps to get there.
How many times did you put your hands in your head and go, "Oh, something else I got to do, something else I discovered, more red tape, more bureaucracy"?
I mean, I could say it can happen daily. I mean, sometimes it's the same old thing. Oh, it hit us again. And what is the one thing that we have to focus on? Or are you kidding me? There's really a rule about font size, or it's just
Like
so much.
And things that just seem so petty and such a waste of your time. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's really what it comes down to, is that the time spent in this is the most amount of anything. You could say money spent, and you'll look back at that and say it wasn't even a lot of money, but the time that you just really poured into it. It's an education every single day. You could say that getting to the jar, getting to the label, doing the recipes, researching co-packers and vendors and sources.
It's daunting. It could seem daunting when you look at the big picture, but I guess if you're just taking it one step at a time and one process at a time, you just get through it, right?
You do, and it's you have to have fun with it. If you get put off by something at that moment and you know you're not going to churn through it quickly, then it's the time to step away and either reassess it with your team, or if you're an individual, try to actually find a good pool of mentors that you can get in touch with and say, I have an idea I need to bounce off of you, and how can I succeed and proceed further in this avenue that I'm trying to go to.
Now, so since we are coming into the warmer months now, and you did mention the fairs, is that a viable resource that's available to you to be able to market the stuff? Or
I will say it is. I could say that going to fairs and different either charity events or anywhere you can set up a booth or get your name out there. Clearly, a lot of our mentors have talked to us about starting small and in an affordable realm of going to events where you can buy a booth space, set up, and actually be there on site, and then interface with the people.
got to have some samples for them too. They have to be able to try it, and then your word of mouth kicks in, and that's where it really takes off if it's good.
It is, but it's their word of mouth. The customer is definitely going to help sell it more than we could talk it up all day long
Right.
and say this is the best thing we've ever had. But it really has to be the customer telling their friends and telling their family, like, you've really got to try this. This is an amazing product.
You can't have a booth set up without having some samples of
Not
it,
at all.
right?
So
this is hot sauce. People have to try it. Right?
Absolutely. So they have to be there, and that was another thing. Even getting into that realm, we went to the Serve Safe course here in New London to actually be able to learn how to actually go to those booths, what products we're going to need there, what is our rules and regulations just for those events. So that's one more, I would say, license or course you're going to need to take to know how to be at this event or be at a certified kitchen or wherever you may be working within your food product, how to be able to do it safely and correctly and within your guidelines.
We're going to take a break and come back. Do you have a website for the hot sauce?
We do. It's actually getyourown.damnsauce.com.
Simple as that. What's on the website for people to see?
Right now we have our formal page that shows the Chipotle sauce, explains the stories behind the sauce and the flavors, and we're going to be going live with our shopping cart very soon.
You guys on social media too?
We are. We're on Twitter and Facebook, so it's very entertaining.
Jim Johnson, founder, CEO, Get Your Own Damn Hot Sauce, because this is mine. We'll take a break and come back. I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Stay with us. Welcome back to For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. My guest today is Jim Johnson, one of the founders and CEOs of Get Your Own Damn Hot Sauce. And here it is. There's a few flavors here, got some behind us. We were talking about some of the places that you're trying to get into, fairs, carnivals, farmers markets, and stuff like that. But what about regular old stores? And you're on the way, not quite there yet, right? Talk about that a little bit.
Right. So now that we're out of the factory and we're in that official state where we can actually go to the stores, it's getting in with, first off, we want to look for the nice mom and pop local places. We're here out of Connecticut, locally in New London County. We'd like to start there and really kind of get a feel for it, as well as the fact that it's not the easiest thing to enter into. You're looking at shelf space. That's real estate in the grocery store that they either may not have available for you, or that you'd have to bump somebody off the shelf. And clearly, you have to be a proven product to
Right.
put yourself in that spot. So.
They want to sell it, and so that's valuable real estate. Any place on a shelf, especially in a big super. What about things like food co-ops? Are they more open or available?
They are, and we've actually looked into Fiddleheads here in New London, and we'll be starting to talk with those guys soon. As we're approaching the barbecue season, it's great for us to really be out of the factory and getting down there. So it's a very exciting time.
This horrible winter that we just had. So someone with the hot sauce or something like that, you might as well have been in hibernation mode, waiting for the nicer weather to come before you can really sort of let the world know about your product a little bit more, right?
Yes and no. I mean, we actually still have to work in the off season. So when we're shopping our products, we have to go out and source the web. Clearly, the Southern Hemisphere, we're shopping a lot of our fruits down in Chile. That's one of the things where you're going to look for different products and ingredients in the off-season market. And clearly, this winter being a bear,
Yeah.
we had an opportunity not only to set things up for what we're working on, but also to spend a lot of time in the kitchen working on other products to come.
And that's probably top secret at this point, right? But to be announced.
To be announced, but yeah, I could say that we're going to have the line of 4 hit the market first, and then we'll step in one sauce at a time as we go from there.
I want to jump. We talked about stores, farmers markets, carnivals, fairs, things like that. How about restaurants?
We did get picked up by restaurants, so we're at the Taste of Phillies in Norwich. They'll be working with us to develop a sandwich with the Get Your Own Damn Chipotle smothering sauce, and we're very excited about that. So.
Now, is that the location that's in Dodd Stadium, or is that?
They have a location in Dodd Stadium and also over on Sachem Street in Norwich as well. That's their main store.
So are you at both locations?
We will be, yes.
Okay, good. All right. So then, for baseball season,
Absolutely.
people will be exposed to your sauce, your hot
And
sauce.
it'll be exciting to see, where it markets from with, different crowds. So you can have the foodies and even the baseball crowd as well to see what that's going to bring us.
That's good. When you've been doing your market research, is there what kind of crowd is into your product? Would you say?
So a lot of the research always points to the specific group. They're looking for males between 29 and 35. It's the hot sauce connoisseurs, and it's you put it in that this is the demographic that chooses it, but that's really what science says.
Right.
Clearly, we're looking to say that it's an everybody sauce. We can actually tone it down. We have made a healthier version of a sauce, but also it's a thicker sauce. So if you want to thin it out, remove some of the heat. And it was 3 times thicker than your normal sauce. So it's not just, I want to douse on those lighter sauces that a lot of people like to use and shake on their omelets in the morning or on their steaks or whatever else they may be having or burgers. You can take it out of the jar as thick it is and paste it on some of your food like we do with like our burgers. We'll glaze them as we put them on the grill or we'll make ribs with them. Or you could actually thin it out and bake it into some of your products as well.
Now, when you say lighter, do you mean not as thick? Do you mean less calories, less hot? What do you mean by that?
So the lighter side of it is thicker in the sense of the viscosity. It's just under a touch of, say, of peanut butter right now. It's very thick sauce. It's a spreadable sauce in this form right here. And we wanted to kind of give the customer more for their money. And nowadays you see a lot of people, and I hate to say in general, it's a filler, but we didn't want to do that. We wanted to pick as much as we can put into the sauce as a product that you were going to be able to do with what you wanted to extend your use of it. So there's that. And then for the hot sauce itself and the heat-wise, it's definitely not something that's going to make you want to scream. It's just got enough heat in there that you're going to say, wow, I'd like to go back for more. The sweetness of the sugars that we chose, actually you're going to taste that first and you're going to be like, this isn't a hot sauce. And about 6 seconds in, you'll start to feel the creep of the peppers. But it's not that obnoxious burn that you're going to say, oh no, I can't have any more. You're going to go back for more.
Is that the mistake everybody makes with hot sauce? They try it and it doesn't have the immediate effect that they would expect, and they're like, this is nothing. It's fine. And like you said, a few seconds later, you might need a cup of water or something.
I'd say, yeah, that's the big thing is that it depends on your liking of hot sauce. I mean, clearly there's thousands of sauces on the market, and it could be each for everybody in their own. It depends on which food you're going to go with. I mean, you might be wanting to mix this in with your hamburger for your tacos, or you might be saying burgers tonight. And that's a versatility. You may not choose one of your standard hot sauces that you've had as your old favorite, and we might become your new old favorite for the kitchen to have because it's going to give you more use. And that's the thing is that we don't want the immediate burn, that hot flash. We want something that's got the flavor and the kick at the same time.
Without the watery eyes that come with it, right?
We don't want to give you that sweaty forehead look or your runny nose. You want to be able to enjoy the food without pain.
What's your most surprising version so far that just kind of caught you off guard and you go, wow, I like this. I'm surprised it works.
I would say it was our apricot cherry. I'm a fan of the blueberries. That's my favorite fruit and stuff we started to work with. And we put that on the market second for testing. For feasibility study, that went second. And we're, getting cards and samples of that saying, okay, what do people think of this? And we developed an apricot cherry sauce that came out of nowhere. And we actually had to bump it up on our production schedule because the feedback is really impressive. So that's one of those things where I would say it's kind of got that taste of your grandma's sweet apple pie with a kick of habanero at the end that's really shocking. So
Is there something that's gone by the wayside that just didn't quite work out the way you wanted to, and you go, well, we'll just maybe put that on the back burner for now?
So we have actually developed about 15 recipes. So we're frontlining with 4 of those.
Okay.
We have a couple of them that we're working on. We have a bacon jam that we're setting aside because there's a food rule and there's a pasteurization of food rule. So that's going to kind of get pushed down the line because, just time and energy in that. And we also have a maple bacon bomb, which is our maple cream cheese spread that we've infused with roasted jalapenos and the bacon jam mixed in there. And due to pasteurization laws in the state of Connecticut, we're going to push that a little bit farther back down the production line as well.
So expansion is in the works then? Yeah.
It is. We're always in the kitchen. I mean, the whole purpose of the idea was to have fun.
Yeah.
And we didn't know how much fun it was going to be. So like you said, in the winter with it being so heavy, we decided, hey, let's get in the kitchen and see what works and what doesn't. And if there's something that's too hot or just something we can tweak a little bit more, before you go to that mass production level, you have the time to really get in the kitchen, have fun, and get to the root of the company.
You know how some of the beer makers will do seasonal beers, products? Is there such a thing as maybe seasonal, hot sauce, or is that just any time of the year is good no matter what?
It really depends for what we're going to see. I mean, we thought that at first. Would it be seasonal for us getting product, be able to get the fruits and stuff like that, but being able to have it imported is a helpful thing. And it's also keeping up with the customer's demand. If you have the apricot cherry sauce, which we thought would be seasonal, summertime, being able to get of it, well, it's actually very popular around Easter. People are glazing their hams with that. And we're like, oh, clearly we can't make it seasonal, or we're going to have it early enough to make Easter. So that was something that we were shocked to see, that we may not be doing seasonal, maybe an all year round for all of our product.
So what's the next thing? What's the next big thing coming? Not necessarily just product, but in the whole company, in the organization, what's the thing you're looking forward to most now? Getting a little bit more retail established, maybe?
Yep, the next thing for us is to find a broker and distributors locally here that we can meet up with and actually get to the store shelves that are going to have those spaces that either A, we didn't go find ourselves, or B, that we just haven't heard of, to get out in the store shelves and get it to the people.
One thing that I found interesting, and I know you can't get into this too much, but it's amazing to me how much, although help people are willing to give, but there's a lot of non-disclosure stuff that has to go on. You can be helped, but you can't talk about a lot.
There is that. I mean, just if you were to help anybody else out in the world, and there's a liability factor.
Yeah.
That, if I gave you advice and you failed, nobody wants to get sued, and we wouldn't think that within the friendship of a mentor process.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, I will help you, but let us be cautious about how we say how we're related. Clearly, if we're not in a business relationship and you and I don't like the sauce or whatever, we wouldn't want to negatively impact each other's business on that. So there is a lot of that that's formal and fair.
It's interesting. You're in a interesting point in the business and in your life where people could and should come to you and maybe ask for advice about starting a business, because you're right where you've jumped a few hurdles, you've seen a few things work, maybe a few things have fallen through the cracks, but you're getting your bearings and you're making your way toward it. So wouldn't you agree this is a good time to talk to you about business?
I to be honest, yes, absolutely. There's the one thing that I've learned from my mentors is that don't be afraid to offer help, but also don't be afraid to say, no, I just don't know right now. There may be that one question that you're going to get answered that I wouldn't know, and vice versa. That person say, I just need this one question answered, and oh, by the way, this may help you as well. So it's definitely a handshake kind of agreement back and forth where you're helping each other out.
Jim Johnson, founder and CEO of Get Your Own Damn Hot Sauce. We'll take one more break and come right back. I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Stay with us. So that is our show for today. Jim Johnson, you want to give out the website one more time, because the website is one of the places that you can get the hot sauce.
Yes, you can. So it's www.getyourownDamnSauce.com, and you'll also be able to find our Facebook link and Twitter links there as well.
Well, I wish you all the success in the world, and I hope you come back. And when you do come back, you'll have greatly expanded, and you'll be bringing the ribs along with the hot sauce next time.
We
all
can
right?
definitely do that for next time.
Jim Johnson, CEO and founder, one of them, for Get Your Own Damn Hot Sauce. We learned a lot today. Thanks for being on the show. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
You can see this show and many others on our YouTube site. Till next time, I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Take care.